Welcome back. A lot of you have been requesting more sourdough recipes, and I'm here for it. I am a young mama of 5 kids, so I also make all of my own bread and pretty much baked goods in general. So I find myself actually doing a ton of baking, upwards of 20 different types of baked goods a week. I also do all my own bread making, so I'm excited to share with you some of my favorite sourdough recipes here. 2 I am featuring as overnight kind of fermentation recipes, and then 2 are more of your quick option recipes. So I hope that you enjoy. We are first doing a raisin sourdough bread loaf, which has quickly become one of my favorites. You're going to need 1 1/4 cup of water, 180 grams of bubbly active starter, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 3 1/2 cup of flour. I just use some organic all-purpose, 1/2 to 3/4 cup of raisins, however many raisins you like in your loaf, 1/4 cup of cane sugar, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. I am using my bread machine here. I can link it down below. It is my favorite tool probably in the kitchen, one of the best, and I use it multiple times every single day. I'm going to put it on the leaven dough setting. It's gonna put it through a cycle of about an hour and a half, but I do it before bed. It goes through its cycle of kneading, rising, and then it just sits there until I'm ready to get it the next day. I'm gonna take the dough out of the machine, sprinkle it with some raw organic coconut palm sugar. You can use brown sugar here as well, but I love the caramel kind of flavor that this brings out, even more than just a typical brown sugar. I'm sprinkling it on top, folding it over itself, making it into a loaf, and then I'm gonna put it onto some parchment paper and put it into my bread pan. This just needs to sit and rise with a damp towel on top of it, and I want it to get not super puffy. If you make it too puffy, then when it comes time to bake, it's gonna be too much for it to get the heat in the inside well. So I like to bake this at 375 for 30 to 40 minutes. I like quite a dark crust. I'm going to rub butter all over it just to soften that crust up, and while it's still hot, throw a towel on top. It's going to trap some of that moisture, soften the crust further, and this is what you are left with. We really enjoy having this toasted with butter in the morning or as French toast, and it is so easy to make, but absolutely delicious, and it usually doesn't last more than a day in our house. Just getting all cozy here. Thank you to Merit for sponsoring this portion of today's video. I think Merit completely understands that sometimes the hardest part in my day is getting ready. So to help us out a bit, Merit has not only created products that are minimal and simple to use, but will give you a confident, fresh, overall look within minutes. This is Merit's new limited edition Le Gloss set. Merit has a lot of sets to choose from, and when you purchase a set, you are getting a discount off of the total value. We're gonna start here with the Great Skin Instant Glow Serum all over my skin. Following that up with the Minimalist, the product shape here makes it so easy to apply. It works as both a foundation and a concealer. Their Flesh Balm in Cheeky, taking my fingers to blend it out, it lasts all day. This is their Day Glow Highlighting Balm in the color Kava. Using the Brown 1989 Volumizing Pomade from the Le Gloss set. Basically just gonna build up your brows for a natural fluffy look. These are probably my favorite products from Merit. The Solo Shadow Sheen Eye Color in Glaze. Yeah, this is just never coming off my eyeballs, like never. Using the Clean Lash Lengthening Tubing Mascara, it stays on all day. From the Le Gloss set, this is the Signature Lip Sheer Lip Liner. Topping it off with their signature lip in the color Baby. This is my final look. If you want to shop my favorite Merit products or the Le Gloss Holiday Limited Edition set, check my link in the description box. Every first Merit order ships with their signature bag, which is where I keep all of my makeup. Plus, when you spend over $40, you get free shipping. Again, that link is down below. So sourdough breadsticks is basically my love language. There's something about a soft breadstick. It tastes good at any time of the day, midnight or in the afternoon, and they're easy to have as a snack to give to your kids. I just really like a solid sourdough breadstick. So For this one, you'll need 1 cup of water, 100 grams of a bubbly sourdough starter, 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. I melt mine and let it cool for a little bit before pouring it in. 3 1/4 cup of flour, 3 tablespoons of cane sugar, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of sea salt. If you want to put a little bit of garlic or garlic powder into the dough, go right ahead. I like to sprinkle it on top because I find that's when flavor is best for these breadsticks. Again, I'm using my KBS bread machine. Everything goes in. I set it to 11 dough setting. If you don't have this bread machine but another one, you might be looking for a basic dough setting or just the dough setting. Some of these can be upwards of 3.5 hours, but mine is 11 dough setting. It does not overheat, so it's not going to kill any of the fermentation, and it's delicious. So in the morning or more afternoon, I'm going to take it out of the bin. I'm going to cut it into about 12 pieces and get going on rolling these. So this is my first kind of shaping, and then I let it sit. I shaped again, let it rise, and then bake. But this is my first shaping just because you can see as I cut, it's going to irritate the dough a little bit. There's going to be some openings, some slices, and I do want these breadsticks to be very smooth. So I'm taking each piece, rolling the dough under itself, creating some tension through the top, and then I'm going to just cover it with a towel and let it sit for half an hour. If you're in a pinch, 5 minutes, and then you're pretty much going to do that all over again. But this time, put it onto your cookie sheet. Now, I know I'm going to have a few questions about, do I have to use a bread machine for these recipes? Absolutely not. If you have a dough hook attachment for your stand mixer, go with that. If you're feeling adventurous and strong, use your hands. I just so happen to have a bread machine, and I'm going to use it to its full potential. Girl math, it's pretty much free at this point because I use it multiple times a day, and I have for a long time now. So now all of my breadsticks are on my parchment paper. I let it rise for about an hour in a warm place, and I'm going to cover them with butter. That's going to be for flavor, and it's also going to help my garlic powder and parsley stick. I'm just going to sprinkle that on top, and then we're going to go ahead and bake it for, how long, Sarah? I'm looking at my notes. You're going to bake it for 375 degrees. Don't want to do it for any more than maybe 15-20 minutes. If you do want to overbake these and give them a little bit of a golden crust, go right ahead, but I like these to be quite soft. These are awesome with soup. These are awesome again as snacks. And again, these will not last too long. Okay, so these next recipes are quick. These are my quick sourdough discard garlic knots. You're gonna do 1 1/4 cup of water, 100 grams of sourdough discard, and then we're gonna need 11. So for some people, they like a baking soda, other people, other things. I'm a good old-fashioned yeast girl. Since our discard does not have any leavening properties, we need to add that in. So I'm gonna add in 2 teaspoons of yeast. I'm gonna get 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, melt it, let it cool, pour that into, there's my kiddos. Pour that into my bin. I am still using my bread machine here. And then I'm going to put 3 1/4 cup of flour on top, 3 tablespoons of cane sugar, 1 1/2 teaspoons of sea salt, and a teaspoon of garlic powder. I like having these quite garlicky versus the breadsticks because they are specifically a garlic knot. Everything goes in the bin. It goes through the leaven dough cycle. I can let it sit there also for hours if I want to and just not get to it until I have time. But I got to this quite quickly all the same. I floured my surface, put the dough on top, floured my dough, rolled it out into just kind of a rectangular flat shape. I'm adding butter onto it. My butter was pretty hard, but usually if it's softened, this will spread much better. I'm gonna put that over the expanse of my dough that I have here. and then add fresh garlic. This is totally optional. You can do garlic powder again, but that fresh garlic, there is nothing like it, and it's so good for you, especially in this season. So I'm gonna do maybe 3 or 4 garlic cloves all over the top, sprinkle some parsley, fold it in half over itself, press down. This is not perfect, it's just delicious and enjoyable to do. And then you're gonna take a sharp knife, cut it into some nice strips. You're gonna see some layering through here. Again, we're not here for perfection. These garlic knots are just really casual and fun and pretty and delicious. So I'm gonna cut it into a bunch of strips and then cut it long ways, because you don't want these too long. You're going to knot them, just as the title explains or hints to, and then put it on your baking tray. I like to do a cookie sheet with lifted edges for this recipe because the butter can really melt and you would hate to get that pouring down over your cookie sheet into the oven. Let these rise until they're quite puffy, and then you can bake them at 375 for about 20 minutes. I eat these super hot right away. They are so good. The smell is phenomenal, that pull, and even my kids really enjoy these. These are awesome with soup, again, just as a snack. You can even slice into them and make a really yummy like ham or turkey sandwich. Okay, this is my last recipe. These are my quick sourdough discard white buns. These are so yummy, they're chewy, they're amazing next day for sandwiches and toast as well, and I've even done croutons with these. So you're gonna need 1 2/3 cup of water, 180 grams of sourdough discard, 2 teaspoons of yeast, that's our leavening agent, 2 tablespoons of soft butter, 4 1/3 cup of flour, 1/3 cup of sugar. If you're curious the sugar I use, it is a local organic cane sugar. And then 2 teaspoons of salt. Again, hit that leaven-o setting, let it hang out there for as long as you like. When you're ready, come back to it and it's gonna be elastic and beautiful. I'm going to butter a 9 by 13 Pyrex pan. I wanna let you know, if you have a Pyrex pan, that doesn't mean you're not fancy. It just means you work with what you got, and Pyrex pans are absolutely fantastic, and you will not be able to pry mine from my fingers because they are really so handy. This recipe makes 12 buns, so I divide the dough into 12 separate pieces. I'm going to, again, create some tension, roll them towards me, keeping my fingers on the countertop. It's gonna just create a bit of tension and friction through the top of the dough. It's going to keep the air inside. I'm gonna let it rise for about half an hour, and then we're gonna bake it at 375 for about 20 to 30 minutes. When they are done, they are flaky, they are soft, they are chewy, they are light, and they're exactly what you need to eat every single day. I hope that you guys enjoyed my sourdough favorites video. I can't wait to have a website up for you guys where you can have these recipes written out for your convenience. But until then, I will see you later.